Hey you guys, welcome to I Cook and Paint. Today we are making a nourishing little dish called Cowboy Cornbread. This is cornbread with a layer of beef going through it. When you really think about it, do cowboys eat anything that doesn't taste good? I don't think they do, and I know you're gonna love this. Ready? We're gonna start off with a very basic cornbread. So here I have some cornmeal, 1.5 cups. Here are some flour, some sugar, some baking powder, and a little bit of salt. I'm gonna mix these together until it's well combined. You always wanna mix the dry ingredients first. And oh my goodness, I almost forgot. We also need to add some baking soda to this. So a teaspoon of baking soda. Whoa, that was close. Phew. By the way, if you want the complete written recipe for this, there is a link in the description box down below where you can get it. Now I'm gonna set this aside, and in the smaller bowl, I'm gonna crack 2 eggs. Give that a good whisk. Now I'm gonna add some vegetable oil, but you can use any oil of your choice. Alright, now right here I have some milk, to which I've added a tablespoon of vinegar, and I let it sit on my counter for 10 minutes. This basically turned it into buttermilk, but if you have actual buttermilk, then by all means use that. And now we're gonna take our dry ingredients and make a little well in the center. So you always dig a hole, and then you pour in your milk mixture. If you've ever made pancakes or muffins, then this is probably familiar. There we go. Now I'm gonna give it a head start here with the mixing. And now I'm gonna take some melted butter and add that in. Give that a mix. Now before we mix it too much, we're also gonna add in a handful of cheese. And of course you could leave this out if you wanted to, but why would you? Cheese makes life better. Now fold it in until it's really well combined but not overmixed. Now what's really important is we're going to set this aside and let the batter rest for at least 30 minutes. This is going to give our cornmeal and flour a chance to hydrate, and we'll have a slightly softer cornbread. Alright, so while our batter is resting, I'm going to heat up a skillet and make the filling. So my heat's on medium-high, and I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to this, and then a pound of ground beef. I'm just going to use a good old fork to break it down. Why not? Keep it simple. Cowboys from the Old West probably didn't have a lot of fancy kitchen equipment. Now I'm going to add some salt. We may need more later, but this is good for now. And I want all the pink to be gone. It's probably going to take about 8 to 10 minutes, maybe even longer. Also, if you notice that your beef is really fatty, then you're going to want to drain it. Alright, now I'm going to reduce my heat to medium and add in a few fresh veggies. So I have your garlic, onion, green pepper, and tomatoes. So I'm going to add those in next. Now I'm going to cook this for about a minute or so, just to get the onions sweat off a little bit. So after about a minute, I'm going to add in a little bit of spices. So right here I have some chili powder, paprika, and cumin. And by the way, this is Mexican chili powder. It's not the stuff you get in the Indian store that's like blow your socks off spicy. Then you'd really be mad at me. Alright. We're going to cook this for about 5 minutes or until those onions are completely clear and the spices have had a chance to really get toasty and lose their raw flavor. I'm going to put this on a plate. It smells like tacos. You also want to check it for seasoning. Make sure there's enough salt. So now I'm just going to take the same skillet, I didn't even wash it, and I'm going to spread half of the batter in the bottom. And I let it cool off for about 20 minutes before doing this. You're going to notice that the batter will be quite a bit thicker because this has actually rested for 45 minutes and the cornmeal really soaked up that moisture. Spread it right out to the edges, then you take your filling and you cover it all with that. This, by the way, has cooled down for about 10 minutes. It's still a little bit warm, but it's not like hot or anything. Now this here is a 12-inch skillet, and if you wanted to do this in a baking pan instead, just use a pan of similar size, maybe a 9 by 13 inch. But do be sure to grease and flour it if you do use a baking pan. Now for the top layer, you have to dollop the rest of the batter here and there. You can't just spread it all at once or you're going to mess up your filling. So just place these as evenly as you can all over the top, and then you take your spatula and you just carefully spread it so it completely covers the filling. Ooh, something tells me I may have chinsed out on the batter for the top. Oh my gosh, look at that. You know what? I'm actually not really worried because there is quite a bit of leavener in this. If you happen to have a few bits of ground beef poking up here and there, don't worry about it, just as long as it's completely covered. Oh, look at that. Now we're going to bake this in our preheated 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 25 minutes. Of course, every oven varies, and it also depends on whether you do this in a baking dish or in a skillet. That can also affect the cooking time, but mine took exactly 25 minutes. Ideally, it's a good idea to let this rest for about 10 minutes before cutting into it, but you know my track record with that. I think it's good just as it is, right from the oven. Oh, look at this, guys. You know, some people will put a layer of kidney beans over the meat layer or a layer of corn. That would be really good, don't you think? You do whatever you want. This is your masterpiece. Now let's dig into this, guys. Ooh, look at that. It kind of reminds me of shepherd's pie. It smells so good, and that cornbread's nice and fluffy. Alright, that's enough. I'm gonna taste this. It's a lot like eating chili and cornbread in one dish. And if you cook this in a cast iron skillet, you get this beautiful golden crust on the bottom. Plus, it's more cowboy-like, less dishes to wash too. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I do hope you'll give this recipe a try. Let me know how you make it. Don't forget, for more cooking and painting fun, you can follow me on social media. And if you haven't subscribed to I Cook and Paint yet, well, you might want to do so. Until next time, take care, and I will see you soon.